A tanky threat with the ability to fire massive AoEs from his holy bow at a whim, the Everdark Sovereign Darkdrift Knight boss fight will push you to the absolute limits. If you want to survive this boss fight and claim his unique prize by the end of his challenge, a good strategy will be an absolute must. So, without further ado, here's our guide for how to beat the Everdark Sovereign Darkdrift Knight boss in Elden Ring Nightreign. Okay, before you walk into this Everdark fight, there are a few things you should take the time to settle first. First, you need to be pretty familiar with the Darkdrift Knight's second phase from the original boss. You should also have a relic build of at least 2 grand relics, ideally 3, to maximize your character's passives. You should also have some kind of plan to acquire lightning damage through Night 1 and Night 2 of the expedition. You'll want to keep holy and physical damage negation as a second priority when making your map attack plan. And last, you should consider using the Sovereign Sigils to change the map to Shifting Earth Nuklatio, and receive a free party revive after completing the Shifting Earth. This is a tough fight, and while doing it solo is an option, this is a fight we absolutely recommend bringing a team of 3 for. As for recommended characters, many squishier characters will struggle against the knight without skilled gameplay, as getting 1 or 2 shotted are pretty common in this fight. But these squishy characters are the ones that can also chip through damage the best, so it's kind of a trade-off. Therefore, an optimal team lineup for this fight looks something like 2 frontline characters and 1 range support. Keep in mind that any spellcasters should choose their spells carefully, as Fulgor's constant movement can make targeting pretty tricky. Spells with tracking or large area attacks are optimal in this fight. Note that if you have a talented frontline unit character that can keep Fulgor's aggression consistently, then you can get away with 2 range supports and 1 frontline character. Recluse and Revenant are excellent range supports as they melt through the boss's HP. You typically want at least one of them to end the fight in a reasonable time. However, they both have the same problem: poor stamina for dodging and the inability to tank a hit. Revenant has the benefit of her summons and her amazing revival art, but FP regeneration for such a long fight is problematic without sufficient starlight shards. Recluse fares a little better with the ability to use the lightning element for high damage, magic cocktail, and slightly better HP. Wilder is an excellent choice for this fight, however, and maybe the best. He's able to deal damage while also able to tank hits consistently. He can apply fire for more sophisticated Recluse cocktails or run interference for Iron Eyes and Revenants. His main appeal in his ability is to keep up with the constantly moving Fulgor. While other classes spend their stamina vying to keep up with the Darkdrift Knight, Wilder does it with ease thanks to his claw shot. Guardian and Executor fall into similar roles as a needed tank. While Guardian is great at tanking these hits, Executor can parry several attacks and deal damage better than Guardian. Guardian will operate well for more defensive teams, enjoying an art that can revive teammates at 3 bars. And Executor will be for more offensively inclined teams, with the ability to revive teammates with his art while also dealing decent damage. Note that Iron Eye and Duchess can be somewhat weak for this fight. While Duchess performs well at dodging the attacks and can apply status effect early on, she'll fall off sharply by phase 2 and instead become a tool for reviving teammates and keeping aggro. Iron Eye fares a bit better with his ability to stagger and apply poison from distance, but he also struggles to tank a hit from the knight and does not deal impressive damage when compared to other characters. If you're opting to go for one of these 2 characters, then we suggest being well versed with creating a build for that character. Fulgor feels like an entirely different fight with his new 3rd phase, perhaps a more faithful representation of a proper 2nd phase to his original fight. Rather than his slightly difficult and unpredictable dark attribute from the 2nd phase, this new form introduces holy damage and large sweeping attacks that can hit players that aren't even his target. Fulgor's Assault is the most dangerous of these sweeping attacks. It's a 13-hit combination attack that swirls a twin blade around him, potentially hitting fellow party members that stand too close. If you want to dodge this attack, you'll have to backstep quickly, sprint away during his first cooldown, and then try to dodge forward through the last 2 attacks so you can get a hit in. And the most devastating attack you must absolutely learn how to avoid to survive is the Tactical Arrow Nuke. The name is a joke, but the attack is not. To survive this attack, you must run toward the Darkdrift Knight and under him, then run as far as you can to the other side. Otherwise, you're most likely to get one-shotted here. While the first part of Darkdrift Knight's fight is business as usual, you'll need to conserve resources for the much larger and more dangerous third phase. Items like the boiled crab or boiled prawn should not be used at the beginning and should instead be prioritized for this part of the fight. Likewise, you should either use your character art right at the beginning of the boss fight, giving it time to recharge for the third phase, or save it just for the third phase in case of a teammate going down. As the Darkdrift Knight begins that third phase, you'll be tempted to run away like you have for other boss phase transitions. However, this one is completely harmless. While melee characters might not reach him, range characters should press the attack with confidence, as this is the best opening for range characters to get good damage in. Warning that the phase transition is always followed up with the rain of golden arrows, so melee characters should keep a distance, while range characters should be ready to cease attacking and look for a better position. Your best openings for attacks are after the following. Rushing Nightglow is an attack where Fulgor will begin to charge and cloak himself in gold. He'll then race toward his target, dealing damage on impact but also leaving a wide delayed explosion trail of holy damage along his path. He'll repeat this 3 times. After the third charge, Fulgor will turn around and unleash a final short and extremely wide wave of gold in front of him. To counter this, lock on and prepare to dodge roll to the side just as he passes. Run out of the golden wave's range before it explodes, and then after the third pass, begin dashing diagonally forward to Fulgor's far side to avoid being in the way of the final wave of gold. You should be able to get 1 or 2 hits in at this point. In waves of wind, Fulgor will gather wind energy around his spear. He'll then let out 3 waves of wind energy along the ground with each swing of his weapon. The pattern is a slow 1, 2, 3, with the centaur spinning in a full circle between each attack. To counter this, dodge forward through the wave just before it reaches you. If close enough in melee, press into Fulgor's side and dodge into that side with each attack to avoid being struck by his weapon. And last is, of course, the tactical arrow nuke. You'll notice Fulgor raising into the air like his phase transition when he's getting ready to do this attack. He'll then choose one target marked with a red icon. After this, Fulgor will begin to race in a circle in the air before pausing and drawing his bow. After delay, he'll unleash the arrow to cause a large and devastating explosion on impact. Again, to counter this, sprint toward Fulgor and then under him, and then keep running as far as you can to his other side. If you're not his target and you're too far away, dash away from him as far as you can go. Last, some standard tips for this fight to keep in mind are if 2 party members are downed at 3 bars, it's usually better to focus on Darkdrift Knight than to revive these teammates, unless you have the art to do so. It's good practice to never rush one of these fights. Wait for your moment to get a couple of hits in and then regroup. Frostbite can be very useful for getting through Fulgor's health quickly without pushing into danger. You'll also want to not rely on heavy attacks for stagger, as Darkdrift Knight has a lot of poise. And last, attacking from behind is as risky as doing so from the front. Never assume that the Darkdrift Knight can't reach you, even if you aren't his target. Your reward for clearing the Darkdrift Knight Everdark Sovereign is 25 Sovereign Sigils and unlocking a new relic at the Collector Signboard vendor. The new relic will increase your maximum stamina, your attack power of added affinity attacks are raised, and your art gauge fills more quickly when defeating enemies. Good luck on your next Everdark Sovereign expedition.